Imagine a world where credit cards became your passport to adventure. Well, guess what? Today we're decoding the secrets of credit card travel hacking. Ready to learn how to fund your dream trip with strategic spending?
Hey there, FI enthusiasts. Welcome back to another episode of The FI Guys, the podcast that fuels your journey towards financial independence. I'm Dom, he's Chris, and we're thrilled to be your co-pilots on this money-savvy adventure. Today we're unlocking the secrets to credit card travel hacking, because why settle for ordinary when you can make every dollar you spend work towards your dream destination? Get ready to fasten your seatbelts as we explore the art of turning credit cards into jet fuel for your financial independence journey. There's so many puns in this.
No, there's
so many
puns.
This is the FI Guys, and we're about to take your travel game to new heights.
To new height. I think I decoded like 4 or 5 puns right there.
There was a lot in there.
My favorite one was the co-pilots.
Yes.
I think that was a good one.
Yes, 1, because it's a plane, and 2, because it's a great financial app.
Yep.
Yeah, if you didn't catch that one, there you go. We just explained it for you.
So today we're going to be talking all about credit cards and travel rewards. And the reason I thought we'd revisit this episode, we did this episode as episode 2 of the FI Guys, and we were just getting started out. So if you guys want to go back, it's still here on YouTube. It's also on Spotify. You can see our old setup, our old mics, our inability to communicate.
Dude, it was bad. From a different time.
From a different time.
This is before I learned color grading, so it just exposed me on how white I really am.
Well, if you go back there, you can actually see how pale he is without color grading.
Yes.
Because that has not changed.
No, not at all. I'm normally, if you're watching the video, I'm not this tan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of good color grading.
A lot of good color grading. But we visited that, and then I've noticed over the past months of us doing this podcast, every time I do my win of the week, or for most of the times, it's been what I've been able to do with credit card hacking, how my wife and I are traveling the world for free or pennies on the dollar. Yeah. And I've been getting a lot of comments of well, how are you doing that? You just kind of say this is what I did, kind of. And I always tell them go watch episode 2. But after rewatching episode 2 myself, I was like, we should redo that.
We deserve it to the viewers.
We owe it them. To fix this issue.
Yeah, we can do it better.
We could do it better. We're going to do it better right now.
Yes. And we have some new information a little bit.
Yep, of course. We have some new information. Things are always changing in the credit card hacking game, and that's one of the beauties of it. It's never stagnant. You're never at your destination. You're always building and growing, just like FI. You're never going to reach that, just be I'm done. There's always more to learn, always ways to improve, get better, and all those things. So first segment I say we get into is understanding the basics of travel hacking, credit card, travel hacking, whatever word you want to call it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people like to refer to it as credit card hacking, but I notice if you say the word credit card hacking, then people are like, you can hack,
you can hack a credit card.
You can hack
the 80s?
Yeah. With that little swipey thing, and I can just steal people's credit cards. So that's not what I'm trying to say. It's we're using credit cards strategically in order to earn us points or rewards that we could redeem for travel.
Interesting. And you should be doing this responsibly, right? And this isn't the first step, right? You should have a good financial literacy and financial habits first before you get into the hacking game, correct?
100%.
This is not intro level stuff.
No, I would put this probably at high school level if we're talking on a scale of what we need to be, because I think the worst thing with credit card hacking, and remember, this is the way that Chase, American Express, Capital One, MasterCard, Visa, all of them, the way that they make money is by you, the viewer, paying interest on your credit cards by overspending. Say you have a $1,000 limit, you spend that $1,000, but you can only make the minimum payment of $60 or whatever it is. And now every month you're paying that, plus with travel rewards credit cards, usually 25 to 30% interest. And we all know that you're never going to be able to pay that down, unless you want to give 20, 30 years in order to do it.
Yeah.
So if we don't have that good level of practice as to how we're going to use the credit card strategically, use it like a debit card, we're not overextending ourselves, then we're just going to be paying the credit card company far more than what the points we are earning is worth.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely just for responsible individuals.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. No amount of points is worth that high interest.
Gotcha. It's not like you go to the arcade and you're just I gotta get the points, but it's really $1 for 5 points.
Yep.
Yeah. Similar to that aspect.
Yeah, it could be like that. I mean, think of it like this. I'm going to spend $1 in interest to get 20 cents worth of points. Is that? It doesn't make sense. But look how many points I have, and it's but look how much interest you're paying, and people don't think about that. So that's honestly the first and most important thing. We use our credit card strategically. We buy things as if it was a debit card. And we're not making purchases or overextending ourselves just because we now have credit available to us. Even outside of travel rewards hacking, like that should be the way you look at your credit card.
Interesting. I wonder what percentage of responsible financial individuals like actually credit card hack. Because I was thinking, I was like, dude, imagine if like everybody was responsible and everybody credit card hacked. It'd be a great world.
Well, it wouldn't be a great world because then all credit card companies wouldn't do it.
I guess so.
You know,
because they would tighten their points.
At the end of the day, it's a business, and like the business is trying to make money. So from what I found on the internet, it looks like it's about 5 to 10% of people that get credit cards actually use them strategically. The rest of them are just like using them, paying interest, you know, doing whatever, or they're not really redeeming their points, or when they do redeem points, they're redeeming it for cash back.
Yep.
And you know, is that a way to do it? 100% it's a way to do it, but you get a point per dollar.
Yeah.
Where with travel reward hack, you can get 1 point for $2 or even $3, even better. And that's how my wife and I have been able to go on some amazing trips that have cost, you know, upwards of $10,000 for $500-$400.
Yeah, 100%. Interesting. Yeah, I guess you're right on that. Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited. Yeah. I can't wait because this is actually perfect timing for me because I'm going on a trip in about 3 months. Okay. It's a little bit further out. And it's going to probably be like a week long, different hotels, multiple different stops, a little bit of a road trip. So it's like, I need to get a credit card. Okay. To, you know, utilize, you know, points and benefits and just different things like that. So maybe on Friday, we can maybe get into like a good travel card. Yeah,
of course. We can definitely do that for you. I'd love to walk through that with you because I know last time we talked about it, you were more looking for one with cash back.
Yes.
And stuff like that. Yeah. So if life has changed. Yep. And that is the beauty of life is things have changed. So we can definitely work on that. But before we get into that, let's talk about the benefits of travel hacking for responsible people. If you are that person who is responsible with your credit cards, you're not overspending. Just because you have $10,000 of credit limit to you, that does not mean I have to spend $10,000 right now because someone told me I have it. Yeah. But what travel hacking can do for someone who does use their credit cards responsibly is it can really allow you to travel the world for free. When I tell people that like me and my wife, when we travel, we spend 50% on airline tickets because she travels when I fly for free, that we go to very nice, sweet hotels and hotels with like nice suites. And rather than paying $6,000, we just spent 200,000 points. Most people just say like, that's a lie. You're getting scammed somehow, some way, or you're trying to scam me.
Yeah. Or it's too difficult to do.
Yeah. It's too difficult to do. You probably have some like crazy education that took you years and years to figure out. Yeah. It's all fear.
It's all fear. Yeah.
So there's so many different ways to look at this, but what I always say is if you are interested in any way, shape, or form, we just start small. Yes. And we figure out first off, what is the right credit card to even begin with? So you want to start with one credit card? I have like 16, 17 credit cards. I would obviously never tell anybody like, hey, it's your first time. Let's apply for 16 credit cards and let's just see what happens. Yeah. So this is something that builds up over time and that's okay. That's part of the journey. That's part of the fun of it. So first thing is, how are we going to choose which credit card is right for you? And if you tune in for 5 Friday feedback, you are going to hear Dom and I talk through that together and figure out what's going to be right for Dom. And you'll hear how we kind of think through that. But the first thing, it comes down to research and comparing which credit cards are available right now and what their offers are.
And do you have a preferred site you go to for that? Or do you go to like, if it's, I want to get a Chase card, you go straight to Chase, or like, how do you do it?
Yeah, so you can definitely do that. Where you're going to Chase, you're going to all those ones, but you're going to be looking around. So I just go to an aggregator account. Okay. What I like to use for people who don't want to pay money, it's called thepointsguy.com. So the Points Guy, just THE pointsguy.com. You can go inside there, and then in there's a tab that's best travel cards for this month. Yeah. And you can go through there and see what offers are they having, what's their normal interest rates, what is the annual fee on the credit card, and all these things, so we can get a quick comparison, snapshots of every single credit card that's offered, and you're able to see all that. There are more expensive ones. Like I have an app called Travel Freely that actually costs money to do, but it gives me better offers typically than like what you'll find because it's a paid for thing. So that's something that you always look to. That's called travelfreely.com as well. Nice. But different ways of looking at that. But every month, credit cards are changing their offers. So every 30 days from January to February, you could have the same credit card can now have a different intro offer, The fees are usually going to stay the same. Those don't change very often. But when we do apply for credit cards, the thing we're looking for is how much can we get in the intro offer?
Like the signing bonus.
The signing bonus.
Okay.
And a signing bonus, unlike when you like take a job, a signing bonus, like you just took the job, here's a bunch of money.
Yeah.
It's not like that with a credit card. With a credit card, it might be, hey, if you get approved for this card and you spend $3,000 to $10,000 to maybe even $15,000, depending on the cards, in the first 3 months, 6 months, or a year, we will deposit you all of those points directly into your account. So we'll give you 100,000 points if you spend $3,000 in the first 3 months.
Okay.
And if you know your spending, rate, and you say, hey, I can spend $3,000 in 3 months without having to overextend myself, just going to the grocery store, paying my utilities, buying gas, then why not go ahead and take that with you rather than just spending on a debit card where you're earning nothing for that spend.
Interesting. So I'm curious, have you found like the rates change day by day, or like you said, it's month by month? And if so, like, do they change it on the first? So should I be looking on the second, or is it like the 15th, or like
the first?
The first.
The first of every month is when they're going to release all of the new ones. And what I found is during the Christmas holidays or during the winter holidays, there typically aren't many offers on credit cards because they already know that most people are going to be applying for cards anyways because they're already trying to do their holiday shopping.
Saturated.
It's already saturated.
Gotcha.
Summer is also the exact same way. Okay. So this is kind of perfect because we're moving into the fall season. Most people during summertime, they're already spending a lot of money. During wintertime, they're already spending a lot of money. During the beginning of the year, they're still trying to make up from all the money they spent in those other 2 years. So during the fall is usually when credit card demand kind of drops. So what I found is March, April, May is when credit cards are usually giving the best offers they have. For example, right now, Southwest and Chase just came out with being able to earn their Southwest Companion Pass with one credit card at $3,000 spent in 3 months.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's the sweetest.
It's a very sweet deal.
Yeah. So there's just so many ways of looking at this, but the main things we want to look at when we're trying to choose our right card for us, first thing is what is the offer? What's the bonus offer? Because remember, you can only get these bonus offers. For some of them, it's once in a lifetime of the credit card. So once in your lifetime.
So just the sign-up bonus.
Yeah, just that sign-up bonus.
Yeah.
Other ones are going to be once every 4 years. So you can get the card, get the bonus. After 4 years, cancel the card, reapply for the card, get it again.
Gotcha.
That's one of the ways that I do it.
Okay. And that doesn't hurt your credit or anything like that?
It does hurt your credit a little bit because you are canceling out a card. And, I think we have done a credit card or like a full credit score one. So go ahead and listen back to that if you want to kind of hear about how it can affect your credit score. But I've been doing credit card hacking. I have like 17 credit cards. I have upgraded, canceled all these cards, and I still have like an 800 and I think now 12 credit score.
Beautiful, beautiful. And cards can cancel themselves too. Right?
If you don't use them.
Okay.
Yeah. So every year I'm going through and like, I haven't used this card, and I'll go buy like a soda or do something on the card. But the things we're looking for when we want to apply for a card, right, are the signing bonus. Like, what is that? Is it a big one or is it a small one? Because if it's just kind of like an average one, maybe it's time to hold off and see what other cards are offering better ones. The next things are your travel rewards and your perks. So
there's perks that come with these cards, right? Really?
Every card has completely different perks. So for us to go through and say like every single card, every single perk that's earned, we'll be here all day.
We'll be here all week.
Yeah, and no one would want to listen to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, every single card has different perks. So sometimes, and the best thing to do is to tailor the credit card specifically to you and what your goals are. And then every single card also has the way that you earn rewards based off of how you normally spend. So some cards will give you 4 times points at every grocery store or 2 times points at gas stations. Or some of them are just like, we'll give you 2 times points everywhere you go.
Interesting.
So you can kind of tailor your card. So me and my wife, we have so many credit cards now. We know like, hey, if we're going to the grocery store, we're going to use this credit card.
Yeah.
If we're going to travel on Southwest, we're going to use this credit card. If we're going to be buying something for my business or like cell phones or whatever, we're going to use this credit card because we know which ones are going to give us the bonuses that we want. We fit that into our lives.
And how do you organize that? Because I know like just me, I have like 2 cards, right? It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's tough.
It's tough, bro. It's tough. It's tough out here in the trenches. 17 cards. How do you manage all of the, oh, well, this one's 3% on gas, this one's 2% on cash back, or on groceries, this one's 1% on everything. Like, how do you manage that? You have a spreadsheet? Or
I have a personal spreadsheet that I made myself that is in Google Docs that me and my wife share. We're able to see it. Majority of it for us at this point has just become part of our mind, and it's ingrained into us. But if you are that person who's like, I have 16 cards now and I have no idea what I'm doing, there is an app called Max Rewards. Ooh. So you can go and download that app, Max Rewards. You can actually put every single credit card that you have into there, and then it'll tell you like how many points you have and everything like that. But if you upgrade Max Rewards to its like gold membership, which is just like, there's the freemium version and then there's the paid version. Yeah. If you do the paid version, you can actually go into the app and say, hey, I'm about to buy gas. And it'll say, based off the credit cards you have, this is the ideal credit card to use at this time. And here's why.
Max Rewards?
Max Rewards. MAX Rewards.
Nice. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. I like that.
So that's a really good one to be able to use if it starts to become unruly and you're having difficulty. But remember, if this is the first time you've ever heard about credit card hacking, this shouldn't be an issue for you because you're going to be starting with one credit card and you know which credit card to use. It's that one credit card.
Yeah.
And then you have two credit cards and now we know what to use because it's going to be only out of two. And we just kind of get it better and better and better.
I like that.
Other things we need to consider whenever we're applying for a card is the annual fee.
I forgot about that. Because some of them are more expensive than others. Some of them don't have them, right?
For most travel rewards credit cards, when you're trying to like go into the upper echelon for like the higher tiers, they are going to have annual fees. There are some that have no annual fees, but typically if you have a no annual fee card, you're going to need a card that does have an annual fee so you can transfer. And that's kind of like, that's a higher level than what I want to get into this podcast. So if that's something you're interested in, chris@monsonwealth.com, and I'll be able to walk you through that because that's more nuance of a conversation.
And do you find that like the ones that don't have a annual fee, they don't have as good of benefits?
Yes, they will not give you the huge point version. Maybe they'll give you some cash back or something like that, but they're not going to be, it's going to be very difficult to be able to do the travel rewards where we're redeeming 1 point for $2 or for $3 or $4. You know, there are times where if you're able to really gamify this, you can take, you know, you can get a credit card that gives you a $95 annual fee, right? Yeah. With a $3,000 spend. So you spend $100 in order to get this credit card. You spend the $3,000 because you're already going to spend it. Yeah. They give you 100,000 points. That 100,000 points, if you were to redeem it, would be worth $1,000. So just looking at it that way, you just 10 extra money.
Yes.
But if you take it to travel rewards, instead of using it for cash back, you can actually take those $1,000 and then make it into $2,000 or maybe even $3,000 of travel rewards.
Interesting. And oftentimes, I know if you're playing the game correctly, like what you're talking about, and you've told me this before, there's ways to get around the annual fee as well.
The first annual fee you're always going to have to pay. Okay. But yes, there are ways to get around the annual fee when it comes up for redemption the next time.
Okay. And you should still, like, if the annual fee is like $200, right? You should hope to get $200 worth of value or more.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. If you should look at your credit cards every month or every year, relentlessly saying, am I getting value from this credit card? And if not, get rid of it and bring in a new one into your ecosystem. If you have a credit card, like for example, my Amex Platinum, that thing cost me $700 a year to keep. Ridiculous.
It's a lot.
And what I've been able to guesstimate based off of the things that I value, based off what it brings me, is I'm getting about $500 worth of value from that credit card. That's not even including the first year I got like $3,000 worth of value because of the trial, because of the big signing bonus. Yeah. So that can also, you know, continue to flow down if you want to. But every year I'm getting about $500 of value. But what I'm going to do during this podcast, and maybe we might break this into two parts. Yeah. So maybe on the second podcast, I'll tell you how I'm able to get that annual fee reduced every year. Yes. By just talking to somebody. And it's not that big of a deal.
It's not too bad. No. Unless you're scared of people.
Unless you're scared of people. But that's going to be an issue for you.
That might be a bit baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. But yeah, annual fees vary wildly. Some of them are as small as $70. Some of them are free. Some of them could be $700. Like
and higher.
And higher. And higher.
I've seen like videos of like crazy cards where it's like invite only, or they might have like an outrageous annual fee, but like they have crazy perks as well. Yeah. Yeah. Like I've talked to you about the American Express Black credit card where you have to spend, I think it was $150 or maybe it was $500,000 on your platinum in order to be invited to get the black card. And then the black card has like $1,000 annual fee.
but then there are no more rewards than what the platinum gives you, other than when you go to the Centurion Lounge, you have like a special area in the Centurion Lounge to eat at.
Okay.
And then you have like a specialer concierge.
Okay.
But like,
yeah,
that's all you really get.
Yeah. I just picture like you finally get the nice credit card. You're like, I've made it to the Centurion Lounge, and you go to sit down. You're like, go away, peasant. This is for the black card members. Go away. Shoo. Back to the buffet for you. Yeah, that's just what came into my mind.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
And the final thing we want to think about whenever we're choosing our credit cards is the interest rate.
Yes.
And the interest rate should honestly, the reason it's the final thing is because it should be a pretty small thing on your thought process. Remember, for most travel credit cards, the interest rate's going to range from somewhere from 20 to 30%.
Yeah.
Very, very high ranges. But the interest rate shouldn't really matter because we're using our credit card strategically and like a debit card. So we're never overextending ourselves or putting more money than we have. So we should be able to, every time the statement balance comes out, be able just to pay that full balance in total, get the points that we're collecting, not pay any interest.
Yeah.
The only time interest is accrued is if you have a statement. From that statement date, you basically have 28 days to pay off that full balance without accruing any interest.
Interesting.
If you don't pay off the full balance, now interest is going to start accruing on whatever is remaining.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is you're tracking your money. You're going to Monarch, you're going to Copilot. You're making sure that the money you're bringing in is more than the money is going out, and you're able to pay these credit cards in full on time every single month. And it's never been easier with being able to actually set up automatic bill pay inside of any credit card app. So I pay my credit cards on the 15th and the 30th of every month. I actually do that manually because I'm neurotic. But
Okay.
if you're not that kind of person, if you're not neurotic like me who thinks about this stuff all the time, you can just set up, I want you to pay off the statement balance or pay off the current balance or pay off whatever you want, or the minimum balance, but please don't do the minimum balance. You want to do one of the other two. Every 15th of every month, every 30th of every month, whatever day you want. And that way, if you forget to do it, it's going to pull it automatically. You're not accruing any interest, not hurting your credit score. Everything looks on the up and up.
Interesting. Yeah, because these are high-level tactics we're talking about.
Yeah.
Strategic plays. This is not for children.
No.
Not for babies.
No, you can really hurt yourself with credit cards if you do this wrong.
Yeah.
I've actually left when I was a financial advisor, this is the kind of stuff I love talking about. I love teaching my clients about about these types of things, because for me, you've known me for a year now?
Yeah, about a year, yeah.
And I've gone on 12 different vacations.
A lot of trips.
12 different vacations. And without credit cards and travel rewards hacking, there would be no way. No, I live a nice life, but there'd be no way I'd be able to do as much as I do traveling. And I love seeing the world, and I love seeing the world for free. So I love being able to teach people that this is something that is capable. But I've worked at places where, as a financial advisor, to say, you can't teach this to people because this is far too dangerous.
Yeah.
And I would say, this is just a tool, and it's all about the way that you use it. And I think that if we can talk through the nuances like we're trying to do here today, you can still use this to be strategic and actually to hurt yourself, not to, just like a hammer, you can take that hammer and go and bash people's heads in, and you're going to go to jail. But that's not the hammer's fault. That's you. Or you can build a house with it and get paid for that.
Yeah.
Same thing with credit cards.
I find it so interesting that they didn't want you to teach it, yet we give credit cards for nothing.
Yep.
It's like you go to a college campus, hey, sign up now for a credit card. It's like, yeah, sure, why not?
And those things are terrible because they know that most college students, most high school students have zero idea what credit is. Yeah. And now you're going to give them $1,000, $10,000 of credit, which to them looks like quote unquote free money. And now they get to run around and do whatever they want with that money. And now you have created a consumer for life who is never going to get out of that.
It's a tough cycle to break.
It is a tough cycle to break.
Very tough cycle to break.
And here at the Fi Guys, if you're tuning in, if you're listening, we're trying to make sure that none of our audience ever is in that situation. So please make sure we're always using credit cards strategically. But I always like to use the points guide to figure out which card's going to be best for me. And then we're going to kind of go through that. The next thing we want to do, once we figured out which credit card is right for us, once we've applied for the credit card, applying for the credit card is quite simple. You just press apply, put in your information.
Quick question. When should I say I'm exercising good financial habits, but my credit score is let's say 670,
okay.
Right? When is this something I should get now, Or is this something I should wait for? Or is this a tool that I could use to like build my credit up a little bit more?
It is a tool you can build your credit with. The nice thing about the points guide, one of the things I like about them, they actually give you credit ranges as to what they say, like this is ideal for these credit cards. So as we kind of go into more premier credit cards, some of the credit cards are going to be more difficult to get into. But when there's lower credit cards, they're a little bit easier to get into. So say something like the Chase Sapphire Preferred. This is one of my favorite cards for getting people to get started with.
Chase Sapphire Preferred.
Chase Sapphire Preferred, because it only has a $95 annual fee. It gives you Chase Ultimate Rewards, which gives you a bunch of different transfer partners. We're going to get into that to a second.
That's high level.
Yeah.
High level.
It gives you 5 times on any travel purchases made through Chase, 3 times on any dining. So anytime you go out and eat, 3 times points. 2 times on all other purchases. On all other travel purchases, and then 1 time on like anything else that you do. So it's a really good intro way of doing it. Right now, that credit card is a $60,000 points. So you can redeem that for cash back, which would be equivalent to $600. Or you could try to use it for travel rewards, which I usually value Chase Ultimate Rewards at 2 cents per point, meaning that it's about going to be roughly $1,200 in value. So you only spent $95 to get this credit card for 1 year, but you got back as soon as you hit the annual or the intro offer. You got $1,200 back in value for travel.
Now, this might be a dumb question, but I'm just going to send it. I don't have a Chase account. I think I do have a Chase account. Let's say I don't have a Chase account. I don't have any money in their bank. I've never walked into a Chase, right? Can I still apply for that card?
Of course you can, because even if you're not a Chase member, they still want you to have their credit card, because they know once you start messing up and paying more, you're paying them even though you're not even a member of them. So I have cards with American Express. I have cards with Capital One, cards with Chase. I only bank with Chase. But I have credit cards in a myriad of different places because why not? Have a bunch of them. But to go back to your question about when should I start looking for, or what credit range should I start looking at? I would say a 700 or above, you're going to be usually pretty good for majority of the credit cards. 760, you're pretty darn solid for pretty much everything. But when we're below a 700, there is a chance that you might get denied. So at that point, I would say maybe look at the free cards, try to get to a 700, ideally 720, and then we can start looking at the better cards. But if you're concerned about that, if your credit score is still low, go and listen back to our Building Your Credit Score episode, which I can't remember what it was, but something back there. You'll be able to find that.
Yeah, you can search 5 Guys Credit Score.
Oh, here it is. It's 26, episode 26. So only like 4 episodes ago. You can go back and listen to that, build up your credit. But no, even if you have like a 720, you can actually build your credit further with travel rewards hacking.
And what are the credit ranges? Like it doesn't go up to $1 million, right? No, it's not like that.
It's 350 to 850. And to get a 350, you have to really, really, really try. Like most people are in the
challenge.
Yeah, challenge accepted. I've never seen anyone that low. Like I don't know how you do that. Unless you're like declaring bankruptcy every 10 years, as soon as you can, you're like, did it again. Get out of jail free
System
card.
hacked.
System hacked.
You have your credit card hacked. I have my system hacked.
So
interesting.
But yeah, you can definitely build your credit score up. So we want to be on the higher range.
Definitely.
The 670 to 850, ideally 720 and up, and you're going to be pretty much automatically approved for majority of these cards.
Good. Have you ever seen an 850?
No.
Me neither.
I've never seen it.
My dad claims he has like an 840, but I don't know. He doesn't do credit card hacking.
As I would say, once you're over 800, it doesn't matter.
No.
Once you're over 760, it doesn't matter. You're exactly the same. And credit, having a good credit score is great because it gets you a better interest rate, better loans for when you're purchasing a house, all this good stuff, but minuscule once you're into those higher ranges.
Yes.
So I say we kind of move on to, now we know which credit card we want to get. We've done the research. We know this card is going to get me this amount of points. I can use this amount of points for blank. But now you're asking, okay, so I have all these points. What do I do with them? How do I do this stuff? How do I maximize my points and my miles?
Yes.
So there are so many different ways to look at this, but remember the first thing, the way that we're going to get majority of our points accrued is with the signing bonus.
Okay.
After that, the way we're going to accrue points is with our regular spending. So that's why when we're applying for a card, we want to see which credit cards are we going to be able to use in our normal life that's going to get us the most amount back just for normal spending. So the card that I said, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, that gets you 1 times points back on every purchase you make. So every dollar you spend, you get a point for it. But there are other.
Is that good?
It's okay.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Remember, we're going to value every point as 2 cents for travel with Chase.
Okay. And that's just for Chase because they have a pretty good system.
That's Chase because Chase has an amazing system, and we can go into that deeper, or you can reach out to Monzon Wealth and I can go into that deeper with you. But like the Capital One Venture X, they give you 2 times points on every single dollar spent for no matter what it is.
Okay. Interesting.
And we can roughly value every point as 2 cents as well. So meaning we're getting 4 cents for every dollar spent rather than 2 cents for every dollar spent.
That's pretty good. So could that be like an everyday card?
Yep.
Okay.
It could be an everyday card, but we also want to make sure we're maximizing it. Say we have a card like the Amex Gold that gives us 4 times points every time we go to a grocery store. Do you think it makes more sense to go and use the Amex Gold at the grocery store because it gets you those 4 times points? And it does.
And let's say I use my Amex for grocery store, I use my Chase for gas, I use my Capital One for everything else. But wouldn't you be spreading your points around too much?
Yep, you are spreading your points around in different places, but this is the beauty of it, and this is what we're about to get into right now. So thank you for that.
Good segue.
Good segue. We're actually able to, with the majority of these ecosystems, transfer our points, and that's where the real power is unlocked. Okay. So if you have money in the Chase ecosystem, money in the Capital One ecosystem, money in the American Express ecosystem, just to keep it simple, keep those 3. Okay. If you're only trying to book travel through their portals, through the Chase portal, through the Capital One portal, through the American Express portal, yeah, those points don't transfer to one another. I can't send points from my Chase account to my American Express account. They're not going to interlink. But Chase, Capital One, and American Express are all partners with Hyatt. They're all partners with Hilton. They're all partners with Marriott. Mm-hmm. So saying, hey, I want to go to Marriott. How about I transfer 60,000 points out of Chase to Hyatt? Now I have 60,000 points at Hyatt, but my hotel that I want to stay at is 100,000 points. I can also take 40,000 points from my American Express and transfer it to Hyatt. Now I have the 100,000 that I need to book the hotel that I want.
Interesting. So you transfer directly into Hyatt.
Mm-hmm. And the same with Southwest, same with so many different airlines, so many different hotels, different cruise lines, all that stuff. That is the way that you can really gamify this, is looking for transfer partners. Because if you're purchasing within the ecosystems, within the Chase, within the American Express, you can get a good deal, typically better than what the average person can get, like by going through Experian.
Yeah.
But if you're actually willing to do your research and say, like, what transfer partners are there, you can really gamify this and get better than just 2 times per each dollar spend, or 2 times per point. You can get 3 times per point. So every point that you have is now worth 3 cents.
Interesting.
4 cents.
And say I sent too many points to Hyatt, right?
You cannot.
I can't undo it. No. It's not like I have 100,000 points at Chase. Let me throw it into Hyatt and bring it back over to my Capital One. It's not a thing.
You cannot do that. Once you have made that choice and say, like, once you've initiated the transfer, and the nice thing about the transfer is now they're so fast.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is to say I have my Chase card and I have a Hyatt account that I want to open, or say I don't even have a Hyatt account. I'll just go to Hyatt. I'll go ahead and become a Hyatt Rewards member by just saying I want to sign up for an account. They'll give you an account number. They'll give you all that stuff. And then you can, and this is one of the cool things, most of the time you have to earn an amount within Hyatt in order to get like elite status.
Yes,
right?
I've heard about that. Yeah.
So most times when you sign up, you're not going to have any elite status. Like you're just now like a member.
Yeah.
You're like a silver member. Like, good job, you put in an email. But
yeah,
if you earn, say with Hyatt, if you earn 100,000 points in the first or within a year, then we're going to give you elite status. We'll give you gold status or whatever, which is going to give you like a free upgrade or maybe a free meal or whatever time you stay at our hotels. I can transfer 100,000 points from Chase directly to Hyatt. Hyatt doesn't know that I transferred that money in or transfer those points in. I just triggered elite status with Hyatt, and I was able to transfer my money. And all I had to do to transfer the money from Chase to Hyatt was go ahead and go into Chase, say I want to transfer money from you to Hyatt. Here's the account number or my account number for Hyatt. Submit. Refresh the page. Your money is now out of Chase and at Hyatt. It usually takes 5 to 10 minutes.
That's quick. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's super impressive.
Don't you love how like great the ecosystem is now?
Yes.
Has it gotten easier?
Yes, it's gotten substantially easier. But I will say, while it's gotten easier, credit cards rewards have become less and less over years. So there is no better time than now to get into travel credit card hacking, because there's never been a time that I can think of in the history of ever that people, or that any credit card ecosystem has increased the value of their points. They never said like, hey, every point is worth $1. They never said, you know, now every point is worth $2 because we just want to help you guys out. But they have gone the opposite way. They have said every point's now worth 50 cents. So this credit cards is only getting worse and worse as people like us and the Fi Guys and other, you know, financial experts go out there and tell people how to use credit cards strategically. It's becoming more and more untenable for credit card companies to be able to just offer this.
Yeah.
You know, free of charge. Over and over.
Yeah, because them boys greedy.
Yeah.
They're very greedy. They want the money and they'll do whatever it takes. Do you think they'll ever bump it up a little bit, or is it like a give and take? Maybe it's like, we'll give you better rewards, but it's a higher like yearly fee, annual fee.
Ooh, I doubt it, because there have been times, like say recently, American Express just increased their Amex Gold. Basically, they doubled their annual fee.
Really?
And they offered nothing in return for that.
How much is the fee?
It was $200. Now it's going to go up to $395.
Of course they do $395.
Yeah,
the psychology of it.
Yeah, because it's $300, not $400.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's just so many different ways of looking at this, and I know that this becomes a very complex subject really, really fast, and that's why I always say just start off small and see where are we going with this. And you know, I'm gonna say we're gonna make this into a two-parter at this point, because we haven't even got into better ways of redeeming the points. Yes. We have not got into potential risk and pitfalls, and more importantly, we haven't talked about every time the redemption comes up, is there a way that we can pay less in annual fees? So we will make this into a two-parter. But before we finish off the podcast, I do want to talk about just managing credit responsibly.
Yes, that's so important.
I know we brought it up at the beginning of it, but first off, the importance of having a good credit score in life. So many people think that like, oh, credit score, according to Dave Ramsey, just means that I love debt. Yeah. Well, a credit score is really just how financially responsible are you on a scale of F to A. And if you are in the D or F range, then that just means that you don't have very good financial responsibility. Meaning when you want to go and apply for a loan to buy a new car, want to apply for a loan to get a new house payment or a new mortgage, even apply to rent a new apartment, when they pull your credit and they see that you're in the 500, 400 range, they're going to be like, do I really want to give credit or like let this person stay in my house or give money to this person? And if we are, they're at high risk of defaulting. So we're going to charge them a higher interest rate in order to make up for the risk that we are taking on in order to allow this person to have this. So having a good credit score is very, very important. And the way that we have good credit score is by having good financial responsibility. So you can increase your credit score with credit card hacking. Okay. You know, my credit was probably like a 760 when I started.
You poor guy.
I know, you poor child.
Poor child.
And now it's up to the high 800s.
Yeah.
But it can also have gone the opposite way. I could have gotten all these credit cards, put a massive amount of debt on them and not paid them off and watched it go backwards. And it's going to go backwards substantially faster than it's going to go forwards.
God, isn't that the truth? That's a scary... Well, it's not scary if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like anything in life. Yeah. If you've never driven a car, it's kind of scary.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of scary. Yeah, especially if you've ever driven a stick shift.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. You never did that. I remember when I was learning how to drive a stick shift, it was my dad, who was a Marine Corps drill instructor, just screaming at me in the passenger seat.
That sounds terrible.
So it was terrifying. Like every time I come to a red light, it's like, oh God, oh God, I'm gonna stall, I'm gonna die.
Click this in, go right here, gas, don't let it die.
Don't let it die.
It's like, oh, we're on a hill too. It's like,
and we're gonna roll backwards.
Yep,
we're gonna kill backwards. Somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's just so many different ways. Can you think of any strategies that we can use to avoid accumulating debt for like our listeners?
I mean, there's the debt snowball, debt avalanche, the hybrid method, my personal favorite.
So those are ways of paying down debt. Yeah. What are ways of not accumulating debt?
Not accumulating them at all. General. Not accumulating, I mean, just not having, don't try and compete with other people. That's definitely one thing. Don't buy things that you don't need. And use the credit card, like you said earlier, use the credit card in a way where, say I have $1,000 in my bank account, right? And I have a $10,000 card, right? You shouldn't go spend $2,000 because guess what? You don't have $2,000. You should only spend what you have and use it in that regards. So if I wanted to get a candy bar, $2.50, well, I know I have $2.50. I go buy it with my credit card. I go home, let it stew for a couple days, and I can pay it off. Right? So basically, don't buy anything you don't need. Don't buy anything you can't afford.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I would say.
I think that's the best one is when it comes to ways to avoid accumulating debt, it's by being mindful. And there really isn't like a simple solution. I mean, the simplest solution is just don't spend money.
Yeah.
That's the best way. But that's not
practical.
That's not practical. It doesn't make sense in life. But the best thing that I've tried to do, and one thing I try to teach my clients, is between stimulus and response, there's a gap. So between stimulus of I want to buy this and the response of buying that, there is a point where you can insert yourself and say, do I really need this? What value will this add to my life? Yeah. And if it doesn't add value, if it doesn't bring you joy, then maybe say, hey, I'll get it later. It's kind of like my Amazon 3-day shopping rule.
Yes.
In that, Amazon is so good at being able to say like, hey, you want this, and all you have to do is press this button and we'll have it to you. And if you spend an additional a little bit more for $25, we'll get it to you today.
Yeah.
They're so good at that. Yeah. So what I do is I put it in my shopping cart, and 2 days later, if I still want it, then I'll go ahead and buy it. So I'm just trying to disconnect the stimulus of I want this and the response of I purchase this right now. So it's the same thing you should do with everything in order to make sure that you're having good financial credit card habits. Because like we said before, no matter how many points you are getting, if you are paying interest, it is not worth jack.
No. You're losing the uphill battle.
Yep.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yep. And then just make sure that we're paying off our balances on time in full. We could always automate things and just make it so much simpler. So I say that we close out the podcast now on this. Next time, we're going to go more into redeeming travel rewards, staying up to date on offers and promotions, potential risks and pitfalls. And we'll also talk about how to get better retention offers.
Yeah.
So every year you're not having to export the annual fee so much.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for that.
Yep.
Do we have an action step for today?
We do have an action step.
We always have an action step.
So your action step is to go to the points guy. We'll go to thepointsguy.com. You can also go to NerdWallet. You can just Google what are the best credit cards and take a look around. Start to actually see that this is something possible. And then maybe even apply for your first credit card and get started. If you need help or if you're confused on any of this, you can always reach out to the Fi Guys here in the YouTube comments or on the Spotify comments, or reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com. I'm always happy to talk with people through this. I don't really charge on those conversations unless you want to become a client, but I will just kind of give you general guidelines.
And theFiGuys.com.
Yeah, you can always go to theFiGuys.com, go to feedback. And if you want to be featured on Fi for Everyday Feedback, you can also put something in there as well. Ask us your question. If it's about credit cards, ask us the question. I'd be happy to go into that with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Pretty actionable. Yep. At least they can go to like NerdWallet.
Yeah.
Just open up your browser, go to NerdWallet, go to thepointsguy.com. Just check it out.
Take a look at the different credit cards, see what intro offers are available right now, see what the annual fees are, say, is that worth it to me? And then also start thinking, what trips do I want to do? And listen to us on Friday, because we'll walk through with Dominic together and see where does he want to go and what credit card is going to work best for him. But key things to ensure that we're always looking at is we start small. We don't need to go 1 to 100. We're always making sure that we're using good credit card habits. No amount of points is worth the interest rate. And then make sure that we're always sharing the Fi Guys with our friends and family. Let them know that we are here for them and that we want you guys to live your best life and use financial independence and travel rewards in order to travel the world for free and live your best life.
I love that. That being said, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you on Friday. Later.
Peace.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the host and guests, not the podcast sponsor.
It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.